Welcome to this week's Survive and Thrive webinar on discovering young talent. We've been bringing you these series of webinars since the start of lockdown in collaboration with Gatwick Diamond Business. My name's Daisy and I'm the Community Manager at Sussex Innovation Centre in Falmouth. And joining me today is Andrea from the University of Sussex's Careers and Employability Centre, Philip from Creative Process Digital, and my colleague Simon Chuter, who's our Student Enterprise Manager and manages the Catalyst team at the Centre. Andrea.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to try and hopefully share my screen with you all. I'm going to rely on my panelists to tell me if that's visible. Great, okay. So hi, good afternoon. My name is Andrea Wall. I'm the Employer Engagement Manager at the University of Sussex Careers Employability Centre. We're a university funded department, part of the student experience team. So I've been asked today to talk about ways in which you as potential employers can engage with graduates, but also students of the university. And I just thought I'd briefly outline some of the headline ways you can engage, but you'll see on the site there's a link to our website, which has further information, and my email address. So please do feel free to follow up if you have any questions after this. So I'll start off by talking about one of our kind of bread and butter services that we offer to organisations, which is free vacancy advertising. So we promote opportunities to students from day one at Sussex right through to 3 years after they graduate. They have access to our services, which includes a vacancy board. So we can promote part-time positions, and these are positions which are typically around 15 hours a week or less, through to structured internships, placements, graduate roles, and everything in between. So anything that's suitable for our current students or recent graduates that you want to use our platform to reach, we can promote them via our vacancy advertising. If you want to have more in-depth interaction with students, we typically have a lot of physical events such as careers fairs and recruitment sessions. As you can imagine, these are now all virtual and online, but together with our colleagues at the University of Brighton, we host our annual recruitment fair called Careers Fair. Typically it's held at the Amex football stadium. This year on the 4th of November, it's going to be online, and we've done a few trial smaller fairs, and it does work really well. So this is an opportunity for organisations to have a presence at the fair. And typically we get about 3,000 visitors coming to that event. And those are made up of University of Brighton and University of Sussex students and recent graduates, but it's also open to the public. So we do get graduates who are back in Sussex who may have studied elsewhere coming along as well. The types of opportunities that you can advertise, what I'm just going to briefly talk about next. We've got sort of 4 things on the screen there: placements, internships, student projects, and Step Up, which is a new program that we're running. I'll go into a bit of detail. But if I start with student projects, this is a fairly new venture for us. We're broadening out the opportunities for students and employers to work with each other, maybe outside structured paid work experience. And these are really experiential learning for students to apply their academic knowledge in a real world setting. So working on projects or problems that you and as an organisation may have, where students can actually participate and work with you to find solutions or come up with answers to particular conundrums that maybe you don't have resource to do without external help. And they're then academically assessed and supervised. So it's really part of their curriculum learning, but it's an opportunity for you to tap into the experience of the students, but also to academic knowledge as well. So those are our student projects, and we're piloting that this year with a number of local organisations. So if anybody wants to find out more, be really interested to find out what sort of things you might think students could help you with. Much more structured and embedded in our offer is placements, and I know Simon's going to briefly talk about this as well when he talks about the Catalyst programme. But any student at Sussex can choose to do a 1-year professional placement, and this is part of their academic degree. So they graduate with a professional placement year. And those placements can be in any type of industry, any size of industry, and students from all across the academic spectrum will be available to take part in those. So typically they would come and work for you for a year. They would be a paid employee. They'd be working on whatever job role you had for them, but they'd also still be submitting work back to the university. It's a chance for employers to get some work done, to get some projects done, but also to potentially tap into the recruitment pool that's going to be available to them when they graduate. So lots of our placement students will go on to work for those employers after a final year back on campus. They'll go back and work for those employers afterwards. Internships are structured work experience that take place typically during the summer vacation, and we have a number of different programs that we work with organisations on. I just sort of briefly outline those. So some of them attract funding. So there is funding available to you as an employer to recruit a student or a recent graduate for an 8-week program. So I'll just name a couple of the ones that we run, and we will be running again this year. So one of the first ones that's open to SMEs, so organisations with less than 250 employees, is a part-funded program which we run in partnership with the universities arm of Santander. So Santander Universities has about 87 partners across UK universities, and globally there are partners as well. And they provide funding to us, which we then use to help you to recruit a final year student or a recent graduate into a role that you may have to help your business grow. So typically they are 8 weeks in duration, but there is flexibility about that. And the idea is that whilst helping your business grow, there's also potential for future employment for that in turn. But we've been running that for a number of years with really good success rates. So normally we'll launch in about January time. So if anyone is interested in finding out more about the funding available for that, we can let you know. A program that we run annually is also the First Generation Scholars program. This provides you with full funding to recruit a second-year undergraduate student to come and work in your organisation for 8 weeks during the summer. So there's no cost to you at all. We provide the funding, which you then use for their salary. And these are open to organisations of any size, in any geographical location, and the students that apply to you will be those at Sussex who we've deemed are disadvantaged and we want to provide extra support to. They might be the first in their family to go to university. They might be in receipt of financial support or bursary. They may be from one of the groups that we've recognised are not achieving as much as their peers. So this is an additional support to open up their networks, open up their connections, and provide them with work experience. So this programme we launch every year in February. So we go out to employers and we ask you to come back to us with an outline of a piece of work that a student can undertake for 8 weeks. Good quality work experience, not just making the teas and the coffees, but really getting involved in the work that you do. And once accepted, those get promoted and you recruit students as part of your normal recruitment and selection process. And then they come and work for you with full funding over the summer. And the experience of employers, we obviously evaluate our internships every year, and we get really positive feedback from employers on the impact that even in an 8-week period students can make to organisations. And if resources are an issue, there's obviously a great way of getting projects carried out. We also this year ran a programme for organisations who were responding to the COVID-19 situation. So we provided fundings to help employers either rotate their business model or just to sort of build back up their business model, and we provided student input into that. So we had over 50 students out working in the community on 8-week projects, which again we fully funded. And the last one, just to mention to you briefly, is Step Up. Hopefully my screen will change. So Step Up is a new opportunity which we've just launched. So maybe some of you will have received an email about this if you're on one of our mailing lists. So I think we've gone out to all the Innovation Centre members about this. But it's again a fully funded internship programme where you have the opportunity to recruit a graduate who will be graduating next summer. So they're currently a final year student with us. But it's also a programme of peer-to-peer development for SMEs. So you'll be working alongside other organisations with a series of masterclasses and action learning sets, looking at a number of different topics such as how to build your growth with student input, how to access the talent pipeline, how to work with your universities. So we'll be exploring the many different ways that universities can support you, opportunities that are available for research and funding, etc., throughout the wider university community. And at the end of it, there'll be an option for you to recruit a student who will also have been on a similar programme of training throughout their final year. So parallel to the employer training, we're working with students to help them prepare you. So this is open to SMEs in the Coastal Capital LEP region. The website address is there. As you'll see, it's a joint project. It's an ESF funded project, and we're partnering with the University of Brighton, who are lead partners on this for that. And so we've just gone out to employers now, and the first sessions start at the end of the month, but it's a rolling programme. So if you're interested in finding out more, then we'd be really happy to answer any questions you have. Other things I haven't mentioned are things like getting involved with our alumni panel and our mentoring. So there's lots of different ways you can engage if you don't have an opportunity, or if you want to just help students to develop their skills. We do lots of skill sessions, which we are really grateful to employers for coming in and helping us to build our students' experience and skill set. So we'd be happy to discuss any of the above or anything else you want to have a chat with us about. Please do make contact. And again, there's my email address on the screen. Thanks, Dave.
That's great, thank you, Andrea. Like I said, Andrea does have to shoot up at 1:30. So if you've got any questions for her, do put those in the Q&A or the chat. I was just wondering, with the careers fair, you mentioned obviously it's all going to be online. Like, how does that work if you were wanting to be? So you're not going to have like a stall at the Amex anymore. How does that work for employers?
It's all done via a Careers Fair Plus app, as it's called. So each employer will have presence on that, and there is a live period of the day as if you're at the fair, which you can populate your stand with appointment slots. You can actually book appointment slots, you can book webinars, you can book one-to-one Zoom calls with students, you can book breakout rooms. So there's really a chance to interact either as a group or one-to-one. So we ran a fair a couple of weeks ago for part-time jobs, and we ran a mini version of this fair during April, and worked really well. And actually the feedback from both exhibitors and students was they felt it was a bit more organised for them, because they could book their time slots as opposed to standing in a big queue trying to sort of get to talk to the employer they wanted to talk to. They felt they had more time to actually look at the available information, because it's live for a few days, not just a couple of hours of the event. So they could research and prepare and make sure they were asking the right questions. And yeah, and exhibitors fed that back as well, that students seemed better prepared. So it's going really well. I mean, it'd be great, hopefully, that we will go back to a physical event, but I think we'll probably always have a blended event now, as we've seen this has worked so well. And obviously from a resource point of view, it's less onerous for employers to log on than it is to come down to Brighton. So yeah, but yeah, if anyone wants to find out more, we can send full details about it.
Fantastic, thank you. Right, Simon, over to you.
I will stop sharing then. Thank you.
Oh, well, sorry, we've got a question just come in, actually.
Yeah.
Which will be for you. So we'll come to that. Sorry, Simon, before we come to you. This is from David. How can we access your MBA students who are seeking work experience?
Okay, yeah. So the MBA is obviously in our University of Sussex Business School. We have an external engagement manager based there who is there to make the links with external companies who are interested in talking to those students. So his name is Marcus Atkinson. I can put his email address in the chat, and he'd be very keen to talk to anyone who wants to make contact with those students.
Fantastic, thank you. Now, Simon, over to you.
Thanks, Daisy. Thanks, Andrea. I will share my screen. Yeah, I'll do that in a second. So, hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Simon Chuter, and I am the Student Enterprise Manager and Innovation Advisor here at the Sussex Innovation Centre. I have 3 hats that I actually wear in different roles that I play in my time here, as well as running the Catalyst team, which is the main reason for me being on the panel today, and I'll talk to you about in some detail in just a moment. I also have the great pleasure of running the Student Enterprise Programme Startup Lab and the competition Startup Sussex and the Social Impact Prize on behalf of the university, so working with enterprising young students from the University of Sussex. And I also work and consult with our members on sales and marketing and their business and developing their business model. So yeah, like I say, 3 hats, but the one I'm here to talk to you about today is the Catalyst team. And the Catalyst team are a group of recently graduated or placement year students. As Andrea mentioned, we have placement year students within our cohort. We have 10 of these, like I say, placement year or graduate students, from all exclusively hired from the University of Sussex, who we employ here at the Sussex Innovation Centre and then make available to businesses to work on projects on a placement or project type basis. So they're all fully managed by us here at the centre, and like I say, make it made available to work within businesses on projects. So I'm just going to share the website, hopefully you can all see that, and just go through some of the kind of key points about the team. This is actually last year's team. We haven't got the latest photo for the team updated just yet. But yeah, we've got a fantastic bunch. I'll talk you through the team actually in just a minute when I show you the team page. The real reason I wanted to show you this page was kind of to talk you through why Catalyst is such a good program, and it was really born from the needs of business. The Catalyst has been going now for 7 years. We're on our 7th intake, our 7th team now, because they're all with us on a one year contract. And the needs of business that we identified and that we were hearing a lot through our membership at the Sussex Innovation Centre was that they really wanted a way to engage with talent, and they're not always aware. And obviously Andrew's just given a fantastic talk there about how to ways in for employers to engage with the cohort of really talented young people coming out of the University of Sussex. But again, we just wanted to provide yet another kind of way to engage with that talent pool. Often some of the micro businesses that we're working with and the entrepreneurs we're working with don't have all of the kit and a physical office necessarily. They're working sometimes co-working or remotely or working from home, so don't have somewhere to physically put a person within their team. Also, wanting to work flexibly can be quite attractive. So having the ability to literally turn on and off the resource is a key and core part of Catalyst. So we're able to work absolutely flexibly. So if somebody needs somebody a day a week or 2 days a week, or literally only ever just a 4-hour piece of work just to get something done, and that's all they ever need, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, we work from right across that spectrum of availability and flexibility in the way that we work. Just you can imagine us, we've got this team of 10 young people who are all, like I say, recruited from the University of Sussex, who are then we just place within projects and on placements virtually within teams, and it works incredibly well. So they're fully supported by myself and Eva Polishchuk, who is our project manager. She was a former member of the Catalyst team itself, who we identified as a real strong leader and a manager. So we promoted her to that role. So she helps me to deliver the team and manages the projects that come in and briefing those into the team, and also ensuring the high quality of work that is achieved by the team in what they do. Obviously, I've got a 20-year career behind me in sales and marketing. We've got a whole senior support team right across the Innovation Centre as well, who come from very diverse entrepreneurial backgrounds, who all kind of feed into and support the learning and development of the Catalyst team as they work with us over the course of their year with us. So there's a significant amount of senior support going into the team. So they're fully supported, fully resourced. They're developed over the course of the year. We lay on training for them in kind of key areas of things like social media, improving their writing skills, research skills, all the kinds of core projects that we often get involved in. We run regular training with the team to ensure they develop and learn new skills during their time with us that are valuable to employers. I've mentioned the flexibility aspect, and we like to think it's really risk-free as well. We're reliable in the work we've done. I'll share some testimonials with you shortly, but we do help businesses. We were created to help businesses plug that gap, because sometimes taking on an overhead of another employee can be an extra burden. Again, a small or micro business doesn't want to take on board, but we take that risk, that overhead. We pay that salary, and then we make the team available to work on projects. The easiest way that I've come to describe Catalyst, and that makes sense to me, makes sense to people when I talk to them about it, is that we're a cohort. We are business ninjas. We are guns for hire who can help get things done. So you imagine you've got a long to-do list. We get involved in all kinds of projects, and I'll share some examples with you now. the kinds of projects that we do get involved in terms of our services. So I'll just load that up now. Okay, and yeah, these are the kind of 4 core areas that Catalyst often get involved in supporting and working on. So we do a lot of research and insight work. We've got a research specialist within our support team who supports the Catalyst team in delivering these kinds of projects. So providing competitor reviews, competitor analyses, trend research, either desk-based, qualitative, quantitative, whatever that kind of research is. You can imagine often speaking to customers or and businesses, it's quite challenging for a business to do it itself, but we're can approach them as the University of Sussex, as the Catalyst team, and have that kind of we don't bring bias to the research, which is very difficult not to be to have that lens whenever you're reaching out and trying to seek answers about new markets, new opportunities, new products or services that perhaps you're developing. So we can provide that really rational, unbiased filter to research that we do. We get involved in lots of marketing on behalf of businesses. So we manage social media accounts, so right across Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, on behalf of businesses. And what we often do is get our PR and comms expert, Joseph, to write a content plan. So bring in that kind of strategic insight beforehand, and then the Catalyst team come in and deliver on that content plan, because we work with all kinds of entrepreneurs that really struggle to find the time to manage their social media accounts and really engage with people, but they know that they need to do it. They know they need to have a presence online whereby they are engaging with the market and using that as a sales tool to promote their business. So we often get involved in social media marketing and other kinds of marketing. Crowdfunding campaigns is another example of the kinds of projects that we work on. We get involved in sales projects as well. So whether it's kind of working with a database and engaging that database and building the database in the first place potentially, but also reaching out to it through e-marketing or indeed calling as well. So we've done campaigns, for example, on behalf of the Brighton Chamber of Commerce on their living wage campaign. We've reached out to employers and spoke to them about that campaign and got them signed up to support it and be registered members of that campaign. And then anything else, challenge us. There's all kind. The list goes on in terms of the kind of what we do: administration, logistics, events. It's such a broad plethora of business tasks that we get involved in. We do web design, and kind of not at the kind of a relatively basic level, using software like WordPress or Wix to build sites for our clients. So yeah, challenge us. We will find a solution. We've got, like I say, a very talented team that go and deliver this kind of work. And let me share with you now this year's team. I'm just going to bring that up. So this is this year's team. Like I say, a very diverse group. So yeah, right across we recruit diversity from different schools across the university. So humanities, English, law, maths and physics, computer science, I mentioned history, English, yeah, right across the board in terms of where we bring these very talented people into the business. And we recruit based on not just their kind of academic background and their academic achievement. We also recruit based on their ability to, because these young people are given all the support that they need, but they're also working on managing multiple projects at any given time and working with quite a diverse client portfolio. So they're very adaptable young people, very with great character in the work that they do. So yeah, if you want to have a look at some of the profiles, behind each of these photos is a profile of each of the individuals that exist within the team this year. Let's not miss out Felix, who's sitting there with Daisy downstairs. But yeah, a really fantastic cohort of young people, and obviously I'm going to say that, but they genuinely are a really talented group of young people who are delivering already fantastic work on behalf of their clients and helping them to get things done. So a really vital and crucial resource on that side. Let's actually bring up feedback. So it's not just me that thinks they do good work. We've got a whole plethora of, and I won't read these all out to you, but a whole plethora of feedback from clients like Brighton Chamber, like the Sussex Innovation Centre member, Filmstro. There's even a quote from Andrea there that you could choose to read, because we do quite a lot of work with the Careers Employability team a couple of years ago now. Local Brighton business Magix, another innovation centre, We Thrive. Winner of Startup Sussex a couple of years ago, Books That Matter, Race Nation, Value, so I could go on and on. But all of these businesses are examples of businesses that we've worked with and that we've engaged with and delivered really high value work on behalf of. Yeah, so I will sum up by saying that, yeah, the Catalyst team are a group of recently graduated or placement year students exclusively hired from the University of Sussex to help businesses to get things done. If you want to engage in our services, I'll put my email address in the chat, and happy to explore any opportunities with anybody who's on the call today, on the webinar today. I should also make sure I mention that these people unfortunately aren't free. They are subsidised essentially by the centre itself and all the work that we do here as a commercial activity. We charge the team out at £120 a day plus VAT. So the team are available on that very reasonable, we hope, for you day rate to help get things done and work alongside you. So yeah, £120 a day plus VAT to engage our team. And like I say, if you want them by the half day, you don't have to have them by the day if that's not what you need or indeed want. But yeah, I'm very proud to manage this team. I'm very proud to work with these young people and develop them and see them go on to great things in their future career post-Catalyst. And I guess that's one of the really interesting things, is that they do go on often to be employed full-time by people they work with on projects. You can almost see it as a try before you buy kind of scenario, where you kind of work out whether they're a good fit for you and work out whether they're delivering value for you. And then often, like I say, that they do go on to work full-time post their time with Catalyst for people they've worked with on projects during the time on Catalyst. So happy to answer any questions, but I think maybe we're going to go to Philip first and then answer questions collectively. Daisy, is that the idea?
Yes, please, thank you. I will just add, Nigel here has put something in the chat. Good testimonial for you, Simon. He's been using Catalyst for 5 years now, and he says great people and really useful. So thank you, Nigel.
Okay, I assume that's Nigel Davey from SME Needs. Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, we love working on that with Nigel and his business. They're a great company, and Nigel, yeah, we're glad you get the value, and thanks for that commendation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So yes, as Simon said, we'll come to any questions for Simon and Philip towards the end. But for now, over to you, Philip.
I'll see you later. Thanks.
And thank you, Andrea. Thank you.
Bye, Andrea.
Cheers.
Thanks
Bye.
so much for joining us.
Bye-bye.
I'm just going to try and share my screen. Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you to Daisy and the team for inviting me onto this webinar. It's been great to engage with you all about something we're really passionate about, which is young talent. So I'm Phil Perryman. I'm the Employment Partnership Director at Creative Process Digital. My role here is to advocate and educate local businesses across the South East region about our apprenticeship programs and talent. So Creative Process as an organisation works with hundreds of businesses across the South East region. We find local job-ready young workers. We launched digital apprenticeships 10 years ago at Apple's HQ in London. We're now based in Brighton and continue to specialise in digital apprenticeships. We currently have a government contract of £1 million to invest in digital apprenticeships across the local region. So one of the great things about apprenticeships is they're fully inclusive. We engage with a diverse range of candidates who may be employed and looking to reskill, as well as school, college and university grads. We attend local careers events and hold monthly recruitment sessions to raise awareness that apprenticeships are a great way of starting a career while continuing to learn critical skills and gain a fully accredited diploma. So what actually is a good apprenticeship candidate, which is, a question we answer on a daily basis. As a specialist digital provider, we're tuned into certain things on the job applications we receive. So we're looking for things like an interest in the sector, the job roles, excellent written English and tangible examples of projects such as blogs, design portfolios, show reels or completion of industry relevant courses. Employers reach out to us for a number of reasons. Some are looking to pass on knowledge. We've all had workplace mentors throughout our careers, and giving that back to the next generation is a hugely rewarding thing to do. Improving efficiency can be a key driver as well. Bringing in an apprentice to take lower level time consuming tasks from experienced staff, which will save you time and money, but your apprentice is also developing a valuable skill set throughout their apprenticeship. And progress. An apprentice will bring fresh ideas on how to engage and communicate effectively with different demographics. So how apprenticeships actually work, we offer a no-fee recruitment service. We'll work with you to identify the right training program for your apprentice based on their job role. An apprenticeship role doesn't have to be 40 hours a week on digital marketing or content production. It could be a 360 role where they're adding value through customer service work, admin, and ad hoc projects. Your apprentice must work a minimum of 30 hours per week. And of those 30 hours, 20% of that time will be spent on us delivering training to them. So that's roughly a day a week that they're kind of released from the business projects and we are actually training them. There are quite a few incentives and sort of financial benefits to hiring an apprentice. So you are exempt from paying national insurance on your apprentice's wages for the duration of the training programme. A typical training programme is roughly 15 months in duration. So we induct cohorts every quarter, and that's the training start date for your apprentice, but you can employ an apprentice anytime leading up to that induction start date. A typical salary for a digital apprentice is around 12 to 14k per year. And at the moment, there are some really viable government grants and incentives available. So you can get up to a £3,000 business grant for hiring an apprentice, which is available to you until the end of January. We've recently launched a public talent page on our website. So the idea is that you can actually see some of the candidates we work with. We just give a very brief summary of the skills that they've got. That's pretty much it for me. So thank you all so much for your time. I'll put my email address into the chat, like Simon said. And if anyone wants to have a chat with me in a bit more detail about our apprenticeship candidates, the training we offer, the job roles we can support on, feel free to reach out. But thank you so much for your time and I welcome your questions.
Brilliant, thank you, Phil. Is that a question that's just come in here? Yes. Given the supervision required in taking on an apprentice, how is taking on an apprentice impacted by COVID remote working? Is it still possible if they'll be working from home? Great question. I think, yeah, one for you, Phil, and also it'd be interesting to hear from you, Simon, about how you've kind of managed your team over this time as well afterwards.
Yeah, amazing question. So, yeah, absolutely. There are supervision requirements from Ofsted for an apprentice. Obviously, throughout the COVID lockdown, we were kind of heavily supporting our apprentices. We had a duty of care. We were linking in with them on a very regular basis and employers. Right now, if businesses aren't back in the workplace or in the office environment, we've just asked them to set up a socially distanced meeting every 1 to 2 weeks for their apprentice to check in. I guess that's one really sort of valuable thing of having a training provider like ourselves, that we do offer so much support to the employer and the apprentice. So again, during a challenging time like this, when businesses are trying to keep going and obviously being based out of the office environment, yes, absolutely, keep in touch with your apprentice and your team. But we also offer a lot of support. Moving forward, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think that with digital and tech apprenticeships, which we specialise in, it's been a real challenge for us because so many employers are remotely based or spend a lot of time outside of the office. And, you know, unfortunately, we have to turn certain job roles away if they are kind of 100% based from home. But I think that will be under review, and I really hope there'll be some positive changes to the apprenticeship programme and some new sort of guidelines and policies put in place which will allow more apprentices to be more remotely based.
Thank you. And to you, Simon, how have you coped with onboarding your new team and managing them?
Yeah, so it's been an interesting time. We were quite fortunate in the kind of decline in the rate of infection, and we were able to onboard the team in person. So that was good. We're now working remotely again. In part, it's a blend between office-based or remote at the moment. But even during the early stages of the pandemic, with the team, we've carried on delivering value and projects on behalf of our clients during the whole time. So the training, the support, the resourcing, and everything that Eva and I do in terms of managing the team and keeping close contact with the team as they've moved forward during this challenging time has been maintained, and we've seen no kind of issues or problems that have arisen because of the pandemic. We've actually been able to respond to it really positively and proactively, and working from home hasn't stopped our activity in supporting businesses, I'm pleased to say. So yeah, I was lucky that the window of opportunity to onboard my new team happened just in time, and I was able to do all of that onboarding in person rather than virtually with my new team. But yeah, we're like I said, we have a blended approach now to how we're working, but they are still fully resourced and supported by us.
Brilliant, thank you. Keeping on the theme of COVID slightly, obviously both the Catalyst team and taking on a digital apprentice, which kind of talked about like how flexible both of those are. Are you anticipating kind of a rise in demand both for apprentices and for your team, Simon, kind of going forwards in these very uncertain times? Or have you seen it already?
You want to go, Phil?
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Yeah, definitely. So we've just inducted 2 new cohorts for our digital marketing and junior content programs in September and October. We saw really, really strong demand post-lockdown, I think, again, because the skills and behaviours we're delivering, and that's an important thing to emphasise, that it's not just skills. You know, we look at things like logic and problem solving and autonomy, all kind of really relevant skills and behaviours for kind of the next generation of digital apprentices. But yeah, we saw a really, really high response to the COVID problem, and lots of people sort of coming out saying this is the skill set we need moving forward to kind of engage with our audiences. As kind of the next phase of lockdown started, and there was talk of local lockdowns and rise of infections up north, we definitely saw a few employers put hold on their plans and sort of withdraw job specs and things. So, you know, but moving forward, looking at our next cohorts, which will be sort of Feb 2021, we're already seeing a huge amount of interest, and obviously having those government grants and those funds available for employees to get for hiring an apprentice is a huge incentive. And I think that we're just very focused on reassuring employers that, you know, because we are specialists in what we do tend to find really, really strong candidates. There's loads of people out there looking for work, and you know, the government support's always welcomed, and you know, we promise to deliver good skills and good talent.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to be really honest and direct, Daisy, thanks for your question. COVID had a bit of a negative impact on us at the early stages of the pandemic. We did see one of the USPs that I spoke about with Catalyst is the flexibility. So we saw businesses wanting to de-risk and take cost out of their business. So we saw a slackening of demand in the early stages of the pandemic. We've seen that pick up a bit again now. So with new projects coming in, with businesses coming back and saying they do want to access you know, people at this time. And again, because Catalyst deliberately de-risks the process or the opportunity to have resource come into your team, because like I say, we take the overhead, we have the management, we have to develop them, we have to recruit them. All of that cost is borne by us. All that's then delivered is a really talented young person to help get things done within your business in the kind of Catalyst model. And I think that's why it's been so attractive and works so well. And that flexibility now is coming to the fore in terms of really adding value back into business and making a difference for them. So yeah, COVID had an impact on us. We survived that impact, and the demand is picking up, thankfully.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I've got a question here for Philip that's just come in. Are there certain types of business or sectors that are particularly interested in your services, or is it across the board?
It's across the board. So at Creative Process, we've got a huge amount of experience in dealing with businesses that are looking at digital transformation and kind of bringing in an apprentice as maybe sort of a first step in terms of bringing that digital transformation and modernising of communications into a business. We work with specialist digital agencies, so Seek Publicity, Rakuten, Madjet, Natives. We are all connected, like some really sort of quite forward-thinking specialist agencies locally in Brighton and across the South East region as well. We work with blue chip companies who have levy budget. So for any company that has a wage bill of £3 million or more, they are taxed a small percentage of that, which they must spend on apprenticeship training or apprenticeship hire. So we've got a lot of experience working with those larger companies and how to get sort of maximum ROI. Likewise, we do lots of work with the NatWest Accelerator, University of Sussex, upskilling existing staff. It's worth mentioning that apprenticeships aren't only available to new members of staff, and you can also upskill your existing team through our programs. So yeah, absolutely open to anyone. And I would just say, if there's a business you're wondering whether or not sort of have the infrastructure to support a digital apprentice, let's have a chat and see if we can help.
Brilliant, thank you. And if there are any staff members rather than business owners on this webinar who might be interested in kind of in upskilling, kind of what could you maybe talk a little bit about the different courses that you offer and kind of how that works if you're in full-time employment already?
Yeah, absolutely. So it all runs exactly the same as hiring a new apprentice, other than we don't need to go and find your employer or anyone. So you would enroll onto either our digital marketing training program. I would kind of say that's a fairly technical skill set. So you're looking at things like the principles of coding, marketing principles, analytics, SEO, organic, all the different types of sort of digital marketing that are available on sort of quite a technical, analytical level. It's a level 3 diploma. So if I was to compare it to sort of a traditional academic standard, it would be equivalent to 3 A levels. But obviously our apprenticeship training is very different to an A level or a degree because it's a vocational training program, meaning that you're obviously learning on the job and you're getting skills directly relevant to the job that you're in. And it's also, a lot of it's industry recognized. So for example, Google, the Chartered Institute of Marketing, Adobe sort of certify a lot of our qualifications as well. We also offer a junior content producer training program. So the digital marketing is very much kind of the technical side, looking at data, optimizing things, whereas our junior content producer is a creative skill set. So you're looking at all the different types of digital media creation across graphics, video, text, search engine optimization, project management. So they're both level 3 programs. The sort of terms that your employer needs to agree to is to release you for a day a week so that we can deliver training to you. But as mentioned, there are those benefits to your employer where they wouldn't have to pay national insurance on your wages for the duration of the program if you're 25 or under. Yeah, that's it.
Brilliant, thank you. And I'll be sharing your contact details and everything with everyone following this. So if people do want to find out more about that, they will be able to. Going back to what you were, when you were talking about your team earlier, Simon, you mentioned how they're kind of from a very diverse range of backgrounds, all sort of different schools from the university. Do you then try and kind of match people up with jobs, with the projects that kind of fit with that, or do you put people kind of out of their comfort zone? How does that work? How do you assign the team?
Good question. It's interesting actually. It's a really it's one of the kind of key challenges, I guess, that within my and Eva's role is to kind of match make when we get an inquiry the person within our team, because it'd be really easy just to kind of go, oh, we've got this kind of this person and they have this experience and background and skill set. Let's just put them on that project, and we know they're going to do a good job and it'll be absolutely fine. Yes, we often do that. We often kind of matchmake in that way, but sometimes we'll look to challenge our team and look to broaden their skill set, broaden their experience, and give them an opportunity to develop and grow whilst they're still being supported by us. So it's a difficult balance because obviously at the end of the day, we need to make sure we're delivering value for our clients and we're getting the job done. So yeah, one of the key things that we'll always look to understand is what's the brief from the client, what's the problem to be solved, how can we support, what's the need, and then looking at our team, looking right across the board and understanding, right, who has the interest, the passion, the skill set, the experience, who do we want to develop in this area, who can we take forwards and really grow here, where's the opportunity lie best, and then look to engage the team in that way into that opportunity. So we go through quite a rigorous kind of process of selecting the right person from our cohort to go into that opportunity, and like I say, then fully support them from that point forward.
Great, thank you. If anyone's got any more questions for either Phil or Simon, please do pop them in the chat or the Q&A. But for now, I'm going to try and promote another member of our team to the panel. Who's going to talk a little bit more about what's going on here at Sussex Innovation. Helena should be appearing on our screens any minute now. And there she is. Welcome.
Hi. It's so interesting to hear. Thank you so much, Philip, and thank you, Simon. You know, the challenges that businesses are facing at this time are just completely different and on a lot of different fronts all at the same time. So I think, you know, this ability to plug in really bright, you know, switched on, digitally savvy apprentices or catalysts is such an opportunity for businesses, and we're certainly seeing now, now October's hit and maybe people's kids are back at school and that kind of thing, that people have got a little bit of time to be thinking, how can I now resource my business going forwards for growth, in a way that still gives me flexibility. So it's really great to understand a little bit more. I didn't know that much about the apprenticeship scheme, so thank you so much, Philip. And it's great to know that young people, even at, at that earlier age, are getting the opportunity to contribute towards businesses, and businesses are getting the opportunity to benefit from their insights and innovation, innovative thoughts. So that's really great. So yeah, so obviously we have got access to incredibly talented, every year Simon pulls together a team of individuals who have got such diverse backgrounds and such diverse ways of thinking, and I'm sure that's what you find as well, Philip, in terms of having skill sets and aptitude that is already there but can also be shaped. And that's one of the joys of working with young people, that they come with so much enthusiasm and energy and knowledge that maybe those of us who are slightly older in the digital world just don't have. So by all means, I think Daisy's going to drop a couple of links if you want to hear a little bit more about how you can work with our team. We'll pass Philip's details on as well. But this year, if ever there was a year that businesses, need flexibility and need new ideas and need what young people can bring to an organisation, this is the year for that. And it's the year that we can support those young people who maybe have got more fears than they would historically have about what the job market is going to look for them to be getting those skills and making those contributions and getting real experience as well. So it's such a win-win for organisations who have the awareness, which is part of what we're trying to do with this webinar, is raise the awareness of those skills and those opportunities that are out there that everybody isn't necessarily, aware of the detail of. But yeah, so if you want to, get your hands on any more of that young talent, please do get in touch with us at Sussex Innovation, or Daisy can put you in touch with Philip, and really take the opportunity to leverage that to give your business the maximum flexibility with this brilliant young talent that is available in different ways, either at really reasonable cost or in a government funded way. I don't really have any more to say than that, really, but we're definitely seeing sort of the green shoots of people, now we've hit October, starting to say, I'm needing to work out how this is going to work for me over the next 6 months of, maybe more homeworking than we were hoping for, but then also to continue to be the foundations for what my business is going to look like in the future. And getting a young person on board now, for that journey of growth is, just so important and so powerful. So yeah, just thank you very much for your time and for sharing, what you do with young people and for businesses.
Thank you
so much. Pleasure.
We've got one more question come in as well for both of you, from David. Hi, David. How many Catalyst members and apprentices might be available at any point of time? How does that vary seasonally? So when are the hotspots or the quiet periods?
After you, Simon.
Thanks, Philip. So for Catalyst, again, in my experience, the quiet time is actually in the kind of midsummer when people are on holiday. So sort of June, July, August being the particularly quietest. And then we get in it, then September kicks in and the kind of back to school mentality comes back and people are back in the office, and things certainly pick up from that point forwards. So yeah, quieter in the midsummer. and then the rest of the year is generally pretty busy working with clients on projects. What else to say? How many are there of them? There's 10 of them in total, and I've always got some availability. I try and, so that if we get inquiries come in or we need flexibility to work on a project, we've always got some. We'll always find a way of resourcing that as quickly as possible, and having someone from my team work on a project. We'll always try and fulfill any needs that come in at any time. That's it from my perspective, really. Over to you, Philip.
Yep, so we recruit all year round. We're not bound to school term times or anything like that. We induct candidates every quarter, either onto our digital marketing or junior content producer program. And the way we our filter in terms of our talent is all of our vacancies will go onto the National Apprenticeship Service, which is the national service where all apprenticeships are advertised. I would say at any one time, we've literally just done an induction, so we're running quite low on vacancies right now because we've closed them all off, but probably over the next month or two, we'll have 10 to 15 live apprenticeship vacancies, which will just be refreshed on an ongoing basis. Once we take applications on those vacancies, we contact all of the candidates and we invite them onto a monthly recruitment session. Originally, we used to run them in this sort of classroom, which was really, really valuable. We'd have 20, 30 candidates in every month who we would do a full presentation around our apprenticeship training, the digital sector, the employers we work with. We'd also give them some tasks to do. So we give them a form to fill out and to write a blog, a 100-word blog about what they would do during a quiet time at work to assess soft skills, writing skills, that kind of stuff. And we also give them projects to work on. So we give them a web design project or to redesign the Creative Process website. They work on that in a team and they come and they present that back to the room. And we always get great feedback from the candidates that attend that actually is a self-development tool. It was really useful getting up in front of 20 people, presenting for a minute each. It really helps them. So once we've had those candidates onto a recruitment session, we filter them through to a talent pool. At any one time, we've probably got 30 to 40 good job ready young workers who we're happy to recommend to employers. We induct every 3 months, but we recruit year round.
Brilliant, thank you. So I think that might be it for questions coming in. Thank you again to our panel. For anyone who joined us on our webinar a couple of weeks ago, you'll know that I would have mentioned that we were about to launch a new set of products, building products customers crave. Is that correct, Helena?
Correct.
I don't know if you want to go into that in a little bit more detail, because I now have the link to be able to share that with everyone.
Daisy has another link. What we've been, all through this process, the most important thing for us is that we're talking to the businesses that we serve and that we're properly understanding where they are and what they need. And the flexibility of apprenticeship resource or catalyst resource is one of those things, but flexibility in all sorts of ways. And so many companies through this period have had to pivot to look differently at how their consumer need has changed through this period, or what new market they can serve. That this set of products has been specifically designed by my colleague Claire to look at their needs around how do you create a compelling product, whether that is something that you've already had that you need to position in a different way, whether that's a completely new offering to a market, or whether that's an offering to a new market you've had to pivot into as a result of how your business has experienced COVID. And that's different for every single business that we deal with. So in the same way that, we put the right catalyst into the right project for the right business, we can help you whichever one of those challenges you've faced through COVID, and now coming into this next period through the winter, and then from the spring probably is how we're seeing it in terms of the chunks of time that business owners are thinking about. How do I resource this next 6 months? How do we go through the winter? How do we get to spring when things will be different again, we hope. But these products are specifically designed to help you with the new thinking, the understanding of where the consumer is now, because all our consumer behavior has changed. You'll know for you that the habits and the patterns that you had before COVID and how you have changed. And we're seeing that in every single market. So we're in the process now of doing one of the biggest surveys of Sussex businesses to properly understand that insight on a bigger level. But we already know enough to launch these products, because these are the products we think will be the most useful in terms of the challenges that business owners are currently facing. And that's what we always try to be driven by. We always try to be driven by what are our customers saying they need and how can we serve that need for them and support them. So that's what these products are about. The other thing that I will just mention, actually, that I wasn't planning to mention, but we also have got some really incredible grants available at the moment that are almost sort of like too good to be true. It's like there's no such thing as a free lunch type thing. And these grants aren't completely free, but we've got grants available at the moment where we can match investment that you need to make in your business in different ways. So I think Daisy's probably got a link there for those too. So I know this was mainly about, you know, the importance and the energy that you can get from bringing young people into your business, but we need to be looking at all the ways we can energize businesses at the moment and all the resources we can galvanize for them to be able to move forward. So if you're interested in grants, which can be used for all sorts of areas of business growth, Daisy's just going to drop a link to those now as well. So, you know, just come to us if there's a way you think that we can help you. If we can help you, we will. If we can't, we'll pass you to Philip or, you know, one of the other members of one of our webinars, because we are part of this amazing community of people, and if we can't, then we will know someone who can. So, you know, at this challenging time, just tell us, come to us and ask us for what you need to, you know, get your business motoring.
Great, thank you, Helena. Sorry, just scrabbling about with links there. Took me a minute. Great, thank you for that. And thanks again to our panel. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with another Survive and Thrive webinar. This time we're going to be focusing on mental health and wellbeing. So don't miss out on that. I'm going to share the link for that one. Ooh, too many links going on. In the chat with you now, and all the everyone's contact details, all the links that we've shared today, I will be sending out to you all in a follow-up email. So don't worry if you haven't got all of those straight away. That's it for now. Hopefully see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Daisy. Thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate that.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Cheerio.